Greetings one last time to the tremendous students in the Biblical Hermeneutics class here at Southeastern University. This is your instructor, Dr. Larry Asplund, coming to you at the end of Module 7 to welcome you to Module 8. Of course, that's the end really of the course for us, so I'm looking forward to doing the grading for your excellent Module 7 work. But in the meantime, I know you're anticipating the end of this course, so I wanted to be able to just kind of review it for you this evening so that you feel confident going forward. The Module 8 theme, of course, is completing the exegetical project. So you've been working on this project faithfully, week by week, module by module, and now we're coming to the end of the process, and I have every confidence that you're going to complete it very, very well indeed. You will notice, of course, that you now have access to the online course evaluation. In fact, you have to complete that evaluation before you have access to Module 8. So it may seem like you're being forced to do it, but please let me assure you that especially when it comes to online learning, we really depend on the constructive criticism that comes from our students to assist us and to enable us in being able to continually improve what we're doing. We're hoping that the way the course is structured and run is effective for you. So thank you in advance for taking the time to be thoughtful with your course evaluation. In terms of the objectives for Module 8, of course, once again, as always, you have a very excellent written introduction that you will want to look at and read carefully. And then our three learning objectives in Module 8 are, first of all, number one, to identify the necessary tools for the expansion and refinement of an exegetical study, which is really significantly the focus of our project. Number two, to recognize key questions to be asked and researched for the book of Revelation and for Old Testament prophetic books, and you'll have a couple of resources that will help you in that regard. And then, of course, number three, to draft an exegetical paper with the purpose of demonstrating the principles of interpretation. So it kind of puts into practice the various ideas that you have been learning, reading about, utilizing in this class into one final project. The resources then that are assigned to you and are available to you this week, first of all, there's a very interesting video from Ben Witherington called How to Read the Book of Revelation. Of course, that would take an entire class to really explore that to any kind of detail, but I know you're going to enjoy that. Then please read chapters 9 and 10 in our excellent textbook from Gorman, and then two review presentations for you, one called New Testament Revelation, and of course that's again focusing on the book of Revelation, and the other Old Testament prophets. So this kind of adds to your toolbox when it comes to understanding hermeneutics and the whole idea of interpreting the scriptures. In terms of our assignments, of course, graded assignments, there are only two this week, but they're the final two, they're the big ones. And so first of all, you have your exegetical paper. You've been working on it piece by piece, but let me encourage you to download some very, very important documents. First of all, there is the exegetical paper instructions and the final exegetical paper rubric. Now, if you have a difficult time downloading these from Module 8 in our course contents, let me encourage you to go back to that original section in our class called Get Started under the area of course resources and materials. I have confirmed that all the relevant documents are available for you there. And so you definitely want to download, if necessary, print a copy, have it in front of you as you begin to compose your final project. There you will find links to the final exegetical paper rubric. That's the one I will be using when I grade. And so there should be no surprises as to the grade that you might receive. It will all be based on that rubric. And then, of course, the exegetical paper instructions, very, very important. The sample exegetical paper, to be able to have something to look at and see what a really good paper looks like, I think is helpful. And then there's also a document on Turabian style. As you know, biblical studies, theological studies, seminary studies all have as their default formatting guidelines Turabian. And so be sure to lend yourself maybe an update when it comes to those formatting guidelines. Then there's a final exam. The final exam is just basically, it's been given a title, Know the Tools Used in the Hermeneutical Process. The final exam will cover everything that is presented to you in the 8 weeks of this class, the 8 modules of this class. And obviously it's not going to be everything because it would be massive, but it will be significant. It will once again be a review opportunity. It will be open book, open notes. It'll be a 70-question exam. And so you will have a 2-hour limit, a 120-minute limit after that amount of time. If you're still, in taking the exam, it'll just shut down. So you want to keep that in mind. Due by the end of the day on June the 28th. And so you take a little bit of time to do some review, but you can do some review as you go along too. I think it would be frustrating if you're depending on that because you want to be able to get through it in good time. You all have done extremely well with the quizzes in this class. So I anticipate that you will do well with the final exam as well. The final exegetical paper is worth 20% of your final grade, and the final exam is worth another 20% of your final grade. So it's a big chunk, 40% altogether here in module number 8. And, you can feel good when you come to the end of this process that your project is completed. I have a feeling that it's going to benefit you in a lot of different ways. It'll be great if you have an opportunity maybe to do a Bible study in your context based on what you learned. For some of you are pastors. You're preaching on a regular basis. You might find it to be useful background kinds of information in a sermon series, whatever the case might be, certainly in your own exposure to Scripture, your own interaction, engagement with Scripture. It's been a very, very helpful, just a beautiful, a wonderful process in this class. So I'm looking forward to completing this class with you. I'm anticipating good success. Once again, if you feel like you've fallen a little bit behind, because, I know life happens, communicate with me. We'll work together to see, my commitment is to you, your learning in this class, and to your success as a student. So you will certainly be in my prayers this coming week, as I know you will be in each other's prayers as well. I know it's going to be a great finish to our class. So God bless you, everybody. Just have a great Module 8.